Vice President James Wani Iga says his government is committed to end the political stalemate in the nation. And IGAD countries call for cessation of hostilities in South Sudan. The government accuses Dr. Machar of instigating ethnic division in the country. Hello and welcome to South Sudan Television. We are coming to you live from South Sudan TV here in Juba with the latest news from around the country. My name is Garang John. To begin our news, the government has commended South Sudanese for their support and stand with the leadership at this time the nation is facing internal aggression and political turmoil. The appreciation was extended to the citizens by the Vice President James Wani Iga in a news conference held in Juba today. Iga encourages the youth to shun ethnic affiliation and instead embrace each other as citizens of one nation. Port Johnson Matur has more on the story.
President James Wani Iga says government and the people of South Sudan condemn the failed coup attempt instigated by rebel leader Dr. Machar and his group that has led to the loss of lives in the country. Vice President James Wani Iga pointed out that a leader who wants to be in power must be elected democratically and not by means of violence and military coup d'etats.
Our people stood up to condemn the attempted coup by the rebel Dr. Machar and his group. Power is not democratically gotten through fire. Democracy means going to elections and never by means of violence and military coup d'etat.
Iga acknowledged the South Sudanese that the government has responded positively to the demands of international community and the Intergovernmental Authority for Development IGAD to observe cessation of hostilities, release of the political detainees, dialogue and humanitarian assistance to the needy. Wani Iga retreated that Malakal is in total control of the government forces and urges those misled followers of Dr. Machar to abandon him and surrender themselves to the SPLA, adding that they will be treated humanly as brothers and sisters.
Our government has positively responded to the demands of the international community and IGAD in particular, calling for 4 issues. You must have heard this yesterday from our Minister of Information. And these 4 issues were, number 1, cessation of hostilities. Number 2, release of the political detainees. Number 3, dialogue. And number 4, humanitarian intervention. This, in principle, our government has positively responded. 4 conditions we have accepted to cooperate with the IGAD and the international community.
Vice President Iga announced that the work of the formed National Crisis Management Committee under his chairmanship and the 6 specialized committees are progressing satisfactorily in the lines with the terms of reference set by the President of the Republic. While the official spokesperson and Minister of Information and Broadcasting Michael McQueen was in the same news conference announced that Dr. Machar has declared his rejection of cessation of hostilities as demanded by international community, added that Dr. Machar, after his failed coup attempt, is now mobilizing the youth tribe to fight for his selfish ambition. He urges the youth must not to listen to Dr. Machar because differences is a political one.
What is requested is the cessation of hostilities. That is one. Number 2, this cessation of hostilities, which is number 1, has been rejected, is already rejected by renegade Riek Machar. He has rejected it, and he is continuing now with his offensive and the killing of our civil population. Now they are in the process. They have regrouped. Riek Machar ran to Wurur area, where he has mobilized his tribesmen using his tribal affiliation, Now the battle is now trying to turn the battle into a tribal conflict. This is the most important. The conflict is not tribal.
For SSTV, Port Johnson Matura K reporting.
A group of South Sudanese women leaders have stepped in with initiative to help the nation restore calm and stop the ongoing rebellion in the new nation. The women delegates led by Honorable Agnes Kwajila-Suba discussed this initiative with the Vice President of the Republic, James Wani Iga, in Juba. The women leaders who condemned the rebellion in the country call on the rebel leader Riek Machar to accept the peace mediation by the regional body to resolve the political division in the nation. Rejoice Joe Samson has more on the story.
Vice President James Waniga met in his office with a delegation of South Sudanese women leaders for peace led by Agnes Kwajila-Suba. The delegation explained to the Vice President about the duties of their committee and pledged to work together as women leaders for peace and reconciliation in the country. They reiterated their condemnation of the failed coup attempt in Juba over 1 week ago and called for rebel leader Dr. Riek Machar to accept a dialogue for amicable solutions to their political differences. Agnes Kwaje said any power and political succession must be done democratically and through the ballot box and not use of force.
We, the women leaders, came to see the Vice President, Comrade James Waniga, to express our concern about the incident or the so-called attempted coup, which happened on the 15th. As women, we are not happy about what has happened. Many rumors are going about that Juba has been emptied and people are dying on the streets. We want to say this is not true. We are here in Juba, and there are other people in Juba. We have expressed our concern about what we have been doing since the 20th. We have visited the hospitals, both hospitals, the military and the teaching hospital. We have been to Unimis and we have been to St. Teresa and other places to witness for ourselves what is there. We have seen where there are people and we have seen where there are not people. And we very much appreciate and applaud the decision of the President, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the government of South Sudan for accepting to have a ceasefire and to have a dialogue, and even to release the political detainees and the humanitarian. Some of these are the conditions given to them forward to open a way for a dialogue, and he willingly accepts without reservation. We as women are calling or appealing to Dr. Riek that save lives, stop deaths and suffering. Please accept to come forward to the dialogue, unconditional.
In a related development, Vice President James Waniga acquainted himself with the wounded patients of the recent failed coup attempt at Juba Teaching Hospital. He donated 2 bulls and food items to the wounded.
For the determination and the commitment they did during the difficult week from the 15th up to the end of the shooting of the bullets. They were really very committed in the middle of these bullets. They've been treating, operating, and giving all necessary services to our wounded. I think this is really an effort to be recognized, and I very much commend them for that. For today, I will not be able to go to the wards because last week actually I did tour the wards. I'm just bringing this small food for them so that they can give to their patients. You know, changing appetite when you are sick is also one of the treatments. Now I have to go also to the military hospital which I have not yet visited. I have to go to the wards there. So I think at this level, I also thank the hospital so much, and please keep up, Doctor. Yeah.
The Managing Director of Juba Teaching Hospital, Dr. Felix Ladu, lauded the Vice President for his concern.
Patients are affected during the last incident. I don't want to dwell a lot. Many thanks to the Vice President. He is at his home. He has come to see his own people.
Vice President Waniga was accompanied by the Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Michael Makwelweth, to the military hospital to get first-hand information on soldiers wounded in the operations.
So this is the beginning. We will be able to do more. I de badaya anagder namolo ziyada. Asa zurna al anbarat kida وسبنا الأيانين فنحن كلجنة بتاع crisis management committee نعمل دورنا كمان في حالات السوية هنا نسب نقدر نعمل شنو نقدر نقلوه في الخارج عشان ياخد يمكن العلاج أحسن فديل ناس كلمنا الدكاترة بتاع المستشفى عشان يعملوا لنا كشوفات ده فالدعم بتاعنا في لجنة كبير بتاعنا بتاع الهيومانيتاريان بيجي بدعم في كل مستشفى يعمل حاجة أكبر من ده بس عشان قلنا يعني الناس اللي هنا يتغير في هنا.
Vice President James Waniga also donated 3 bulls and food items for the wounded soldiers. Iga said more donations will be rendered from his office, adding that the Crisis Management Committee, which he heads, will provide humanitarian assistance. While the medical director of the military hospital, Dr. Dau Alier, appreciated the efforts of the Vice President in supporting the wounded during the operations.
نشكر نائب الرئيس جزيل الشكر للفتة دي وده حاجة بس يعني بخش في ضمائر بتاع العيانين اللي هو مسك يدين واحد دي حاجة تمام وده اللي هو مستوى بتاع الرياضة البلد دايره الكلام ده هم بعدين بيكلموا اخوانهم في جبهات يقولوا والله نائب الرئيس زارنا وانا سلمت عليه في يد ودي كلام مهم جدا نشكرك كثير
الجرحى دي جابوهم من وين كلهم الجرحى
ومن ومن ملكال ومن بنتيو
ومن باريان
وضع بدام كيف بس
باريان كمان
من باريان عاود بنتيو قصدي عدد كم العدد هسه عندنا هنا الجديد 520 والقديم 700 او 400 وكم 40 التوتال كله 987 الفريده دي ولا نائب رئيس
اسمك كمان
اسم الكريم انا دكتور داولير ميجر جنرال اللي هو كماندر بتاع ميديكال كورس بتاع اسبانيا.
The Intergovernmental Authority for Development, IGAD, has announced that dialogue by all stakeholders to the crisis in South Sudan will begin on the 31st of December 2013, calling on the government and the rebel leader Dr. Riek Machar to cease hostilities in the country. The government has already opened up itself for dialogue during and even before the emergency visit by the IGAD Council of Ministers and the 2 leaders from Ethiopia and Kenya. Our reporter James Arusia Tanga has more on the story. Well, we apologize for that error in that story. To continue with our news bulletin, South Sudan government has accused the rebel leader Dr. Riek Machar of mobilizing thousands of youth from the White Army, a group of youth militants in Jonglei State, to launch another offensive against the government, describing it as an attempt to undermine the regional call for cessation of hostilities in the country. In a statement to South Sudan television, the press secretary in the office of the president, Ateng Weka Ateng, said the rebel leader Dr. Riek Machar has misled over 2,000 youth from the ethnic group in Jonglei State to join his military wing and attack state capital of Jonglei Bor and other government positions in the country. The government has so far appeals to some youth from the area to refrain from supporting the rebellion of Dr. Machar alleged to be using tribal sentiment to gain support from the local population.
For South Sudanese, not only for one tribe, he could not have killed his deputy commander simply because that deputy commander was a Dinka. So this is what is happening, and we want the international community to understand that Dr. Riek is the one making the situation as tribal as he is now doing it. We don't go by that one as government. We ensure that we protect all citizens from all the 64 tribes that comprises that inhabited South Sudan. But Dr. Riek is not protecting civilian. This is what I want to tell you, ladies.
SPLA has announced today that it has taken full control of Upper Nile State after defeating rebels loyal to Dr. Riek Machar. According to the army spokesperson, Colonel Philip Aguirre, the SPLA forces are in full control of Malakal town and its surrounding. Colonel Aguirre says the army is committed to protect civilians and restore law and order in the country.
In most of the areas of South Sudan is stable. For the areas where there are operations that are imposed on the SPLA by the forces of the coup and the rebellion, Malakal, as we stated yesterday, Malakal is stable under the control of the SPLA. However, the forces of rebellion are mobilizing at a distance, and that is an indication that they have an intention return for a possible attack on Malakal, but the situation as we speak today is stable and calm. The command of the SPLA in Malakal is in full control of the situation. Whoever wanted to visit Malakal is welcome. On the situation in Unity State, the SPLA bases in Pariang for the last 3 consecutive days have been attacked by the forces loyal to Dr. Riek Machar, and all the attacks have been defeated in Pariang, and this is an indicative of forces waging a war against the state. The SPLA forces have no other option but to defend themselves. The forces of Dr. Riek Machar are mobilizing the White Army, the so-called White Army, mainly from Launwer and Gawer, and they are launching a second attack on Bor. Possibly the SPLA will encounter them anywhere between Bor and the areas of their mobilization. But Bor is firmly under the control of the SPLA. This is an indicative that the SPLA is on a defensive position, not on an offensive position. For Juba, everybody in Juba is aware that Juba is stable, and those who committed some atrocities and suspect that have killed innocent civilians are being hunted by the security organs. So far, the SPLA intelligence have arrested 5 of the suspects that might have committed human rights violations against innocent civilians, and more are being hunted. The SPLA command is serious about this and will do all the best to arrest everybody that have taken the chance, whether it's uniform or criminals that have exploited the situation. There are indications that more will be arrested soon, and they will be taken to court for all the violations.
Let's go for a short break before we continue with the rest of our news bulletins.
بتاع سودان السودان احنا قاعدين رغم ما حصل لنا ضرب احنا بتاع 107 ونحن جرينا، لكن قلنا لا، نحن نرجع لوطننا، نحن نرجع لانه دولتنا ده دولة صغيرة نحن لسه متربية زي جنا القاعد يدور بركبه ولسه ما بقى يدور بكرينه، ونحن ما عندنا أي مشكلة لا قبلية ولا نحن وكيل فصلنا البلد ده ولا فصلنا بلد ده عشان شلكاي ولا دينكاي ولا مورلي ولا فجلو ولا نيمبرة ولا منداري ولا برياوي. نحن فصلنا البلد ده عشان نكون كتلة واحدة، نكون كتلة واحدة والشعب جنوب واحد.
أقول أنه يعني جوبا في أمان، جوبا ما عنده أي مشكلة، ومواطنين اللي ذهبوا من جوبا للبلاد النائية أو الأرياف خارج المدينة يحاولوا يرجعوا جوا المدينة، أنه أي منطقة فيها كارثة لازم يكون فيها سلام. والحمد لله حكومتنا قدرت تمكنت وظهرت العدو.
Those are voices of concern from some South Sudanese in the area. On the occasion of Christmas celebration, President Salva Kiir Mayardit has donated some bowls to the SPLA wounded soldiers and other patients in the hospital, as well as inmates and orphans in the country.
Walmabur, Director of Special Programs in the Office of the President. This season of the year, there are two occasions: the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ, and the New Year. This coming year is 2014. Everybody is happy that we are celebrating these two occasions. Though this country these days is passing in a passage that is known to everybody, of which I am not mandated to explain what's happening, but everybody is assumed to know. The Office of the President, and in the person of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, is accustomed every year for this, and especially for these occasions, the Christmas and the New Year, he is accustomed to extend his thanks and his appreciations for the country, and he gives away gifts in form of kinds, that's donations, to some of the institutions that are seen to be needy, especially those vulnerable groups like orphanages and prisons and wounded heroes. The President is accustomed to extend his gratitude and thanks for the year.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs distributed medical assortment and food items donated by the Arab Republic of Egypt to the victims of the failed coup attempt in Juba. According to the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Clement Taban, the relief items will be transported to vulnerable people in the affected areas. Emmanuel Malwal has more on this story.
Of the failed coup attempt a week ago in Juba. According to the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Clement Taban, the relief items will be transported to vulnerable in the affected areas by the recent escalated political differences by Dr. Riek Machar Teny.
Military hospital in Juba, to Pariang, to Arab and Malakal. This stock will be delivered by the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health is prepared, ready to deliver this stock to help our dear people who are affected by this crisis. And one of the military hospitals has already been loaded, and immediately will be used to support those who are injured and those who are sick in the hospital. The government is also working hard to deliver humanitarian assistance to the people affected in Bor and Minkaman. In Minkaman, we have already sent 23 metric tons of food currently being distributed to the population affected. We have loaded a truck of 15 metric tons of assorted food, and they will be dispatched to Bor, capital of Jonglei State today, and hopefully tomorrow the food will assist the population who are now returning to the town after we flush out the rebels, I think, from the town. More assistance is being planned. We just completed a meeting also with our humanitarian partners, the WFP. They are prepared to come in and provide food assistance, which I think will be implemented on the ground by the South Sudan Red Cross, the RRC on the ground. So I want to share with our dear citizens in the country that we are trying our best to assist the people who are affected by this crisis, but the resources are not enough. So people of goodwill, the citizens, all are urged, and we appeal to them to ensure also that we work together to assist our dear brothers and sisters affected by this crisis.
The Executive Director for Central Medical Stores, Dr. Mohamedin, appreciated the Egyptian government in supporting the people of South Sudan.
على أساس إنه نخفف من التعب والمشاكل بتاع ناسنا الموجودين في الظرف الحسا موجود ده. برضو أنا برسل الشكر بتاعي كثير جدا لجمهورية مصر السرو أو عبر السفارة بتاعتهم قاموا قدموا لنا معونات. المعونات ده عبارة عن كمية بتاعت أدوية دي عبارة عن أدوية منقذة للحياة، وفي أدوية بالنسبة للجروح للحالات الموجودة عندنا. الأدوية دي على حسب البلان أو البوليسي بتاعتنا بيتقسم ل4 اريا. جزء من الدواء ده لمستشفى العسكري هنا في داخل جوبا، جزء منه حنرسله لمنطقة باريان، جزء ثاني من الدواء حيمشي لمستشفى ملكال التعليمي، جزء من الدواء حيمشي لمستشفى واراب على اساس انه نقدر نعالجوا الحالات بتاعت ناس بتاعتنا المجروحين في الفتره دي. وان احنا بنشكر كل زول قدم لنا.
Reporting for others TV News, I'm Emmanuel Malwal.
Bor Hospital is in a pathetic situation after the rebels looted and destroyed the medical facility in the area. The National Ministry of Health sent a medical team to assess the situation for possible response to help the local population. As Kizito Ketamode's report, the ministry has appealed to humanitarian agencies to help the victims of the recent attack in the region.
Bor Hospital is in pathetic condition after it has been destroyed by the rebel leader Dr. Riek Machar. On Saturday, a National Ministry of Health led delegations to Bor, Chongole State to assess the health condition in the state. The Undersecretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Makur Matur Koryom, say the visit aimed at assessing the health condition in the state following the attack by forces led by Dr. Riek Machar. Dr. Makur say the Ministry of Health will reopen Bor teaching hospital that have been destroyed following the conflicts in the area.
We visited the hospital, which I think is in good shape, not really bad. The few things that have been damaged here and there can quickly be fixed, and the work can resume. We also realized that a lot of dead bodies are scattered around the town, and we were informed by the mayor that only on the eastern part of the town they could count up to 200 bodies yesterday, and they have not completed the mapping of the whole town, and so it is possible that you could have a huge number of dead bodies around here. And on that, we held a meeting with the acting governor and together with the mayor, and we discussed on how we can quickly bury those bodies, because it's simply imposed a real and big public health problem. And along that line, we went and met the UNIMIS, and we agreed on a number of measures to quickly bury those bodies. One of those is for the city council to identify a burial site, which the mayor is doing as we speak. The UNIMIS have pledged to provide excavators. The government of Jonglei also will provide manpower together with the army. At our level, we are providing other logistics like protective body clothing and the burial bags for the decomposed bodies, which we hope will be delivered today.
I think a kind of a destruction and looting which has been done. This is a situation which leaves these conditions in an awkward situation where health indicators remain a very big challenge in South Sudan and need to be addressed. But with this happening, where South Sudan counts 2 years of its independence, with health situation remaining still in dire need in this country, we don't know where this nation is heading.
The acting governor of Jonglei State, Honorable Gutu Chang, who is also the State Minister of Cooperative and Rural Development, called on international community to support the health condition in the state that have been destroyed as a result of the conflict. Honorable Gutu say over 15,000 people are in dire need of health services in Bor alone, describing the condition as critical and in dire need of health support.
My appeal to the international community to bring assistance to the population, non-food items, food also, and medicine, everything so is looted, and we are needed emergency situation to be helped. Also, we are appealing to the international community to help this situation, and also the government, the national government also, we want them to bring also to support us as soon as possible. This is what I can say to the international community.
What about the citizen of the people of Jonglei?
Yeah, citizen now, we are now looking for them, calling them back to come, and the situation is calm, and everybody we want him to come and return to his house, so that if in 2 days nobody killed in the town, and just these are shooting, people are drunk, the police, but the SPLA are just sitting down, but the police now, they are the one who control the area, but nobody killed now since yesterday and before yesterday. People are good. No. But the body lie down, it is the body that killed by the rebels. But when our SPLA forces came here, they never kill any civilian.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Mission to South Sudan State Coordinator for Jonglei State, Kenneth Bayu, called for humanitarian assistance for people affected by the violence. He said UNMISS is more concerned about safety of the citizen.
There are, of course, many IDPs that have come in, which does make the health situation a little bit worse between human waste, and there are also deceased persons around the compound. That's really exacerbating what's occurring as far as the health situation. We are concerned, and we're doing what we can. There is a UN team that had come to assess what was required, and we're moving on that as soon as we can. We're really concerned for everybody's safety and security. You know, the protection of civilians is really right now prime in our mandate. We are receiving reinforcements in order to do this mandate, and of course we're working with all partners concerned in order to make this happen. This really is a joint effort, and so far everybody's been playing their part. But again, everybody's safety is our primary concern.
Just as you could see on my background here, you see the delegation from the National Ministry of Health accessing the health situation in Bor Teaching Hospital. They are trying to see what must be done, the damage that has been destroyed, way forward, so that this hospital should be restored back to its operationalization. Of course, the hospital is deserted, nothing there, hospital looted as a result of the conflict which was engulfed in this part of the regions or part of the country, and leaving the situation as far as health is concerned in a poor shape. But now the people and the citizens of Bor are trying to return back to their capital, Bor. We could see a number of people returning back. That describes the situation that there's a state of peace in a conversations interview that we had with the acting governor here in the state. Now, totally calm has come back to the state. Stability has returned back to the state. People are now being urged to come back to their houses in the state. Of course, the hospital in my backgrounds, as part of the missions that we came to see how bad the situation is, looking at health situation in South Sudan, which is a big dire need, and South Sudan is on top of the World Health Index as far as it is concerned.